Hi everyone, my name is Matt, also known as UKAstroNut, and in this video today I'm answering the question, what is an atom? So I already did a video on what is the atomic world, and I said that the atomic world was things like particles and reactions of chemicals together, and there are just the fundamental forces that held things together. But now I'm going to try and go into a bit more detail of what an actual atom is. So this is kind of the starting point for the atomic world. So from atomic world, atomic, atom. That's how we get the word atomic. So it comes from this idea that everything is made up of smaller and smaller particles. Okay. So for example, I have this pen here. Okay. Now, I take the lid off this pen. I have a pen here. Now, this pen, if we look down a microscope, we could see down to a level where maybe we could see there's some cracks in this pen. We could get some sort of more zoomed in look at the small features on the pen. There's some indents and some writing on it. But if you were to look even deeper, really deep, and this is much more than you can go with a normal microscope, but you can get special types of microscope that can look this far, what you'd find is that the pen is actually made up of lots and lots of small particles that are all joined together. Now, when I say small, I mean they're really tiny. They're like thousandths of the width of a hair. I mean, these things are really small, which is why we can't see them with a normal microscope. And in this pen here, there will be billions and billions of these particles, which are atoms, and they're all held together. Now, you can see that I can't break this pen just by bending on it. So these particles, we know, must be held on and fixed tight to each other. So although they're made from these individual particles, these individual atoms, they're really held on strong, tight next to each other. They can't bend and you can't move them. But if I put enough force in them, I can break them apart, but they don't easily break apart. So that's what atoms are. Atoms are very small particles, small things that everything, basically everything in the universe that we know of is made up of these. So wood is made up of them, you are made up of them, the air we breathe in is made up of oxygen atoms, and as well as nitrogen atoms and carbon dioxide and all these kind of things. The water that comes out of your tap is made up of atoms. It's made of atoms that are joined together to form water, which is H2O. So it's hydrogen and oxygen atoms that are stuck together. Now, water is obviously very different in liquid form than this pen, because the water can flow and move, whereas this pen can't. So atoms can be very different. The materials in them are very different, depending on what the atoms are like. So what is an atom actually made of itself? Well, I have here a lovely Lego version of an atom. So I'm going to take you through this in different steps. So here in the centre you can see these white and green blocks. Okay. Now this whole thing in the centre is called the nucleus. The nucleus is the centre of an atom. Now the nucleus is made of two types of particles, neutrons and protons. Neutrons are the white ones and protons the green ones. Now protons are positively charged, so they pull in anything that's negatively charged towards it, like a magnet with the north and south pole. One of them's positive, one of them's negative. Whereas the neutron is neutral charge, it has no charge, it isn't like either side of a magnet, it doesn't attract or pull anything away. So in the centre of the nucleus we have these two particles, protons and neutrons. Now around the outside, if you ignore the red things here, there's just so I can hold the electrons in place. The blue things here, I've ruined it already, I've told you what they are. The blue things are electrons. So electrons go around the outside of the nucleus and they're all spinning all the way around. Now electrons are negatively charged. So the protons are positive charge, electrons negatively charged, they pull on towards each other, they're pulling each other in. But the neutrons are actually stopping this from happening. There are other forces inside this atom that stops them collapsing in towards each other. So instead you keep this nucleus always at the centre, and these electrons spin all the way around the outside. Now this here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 protons and 4 neutrons and 4 electrons. But you can have different number of protons, neutrons and electrons, and the number of these particles basically determine what type of atom you're looking at. So the number of protons in an atom determines what element it is. So whether it's oxygen or carbon or nitrogen or helium or whatever. But I'll do another video and I'll explain more what elements and things like this are. And you don't have to have the same number of neutrons and electrons as protons. They can have different numbers, and these cause sort of strange systems where you can have an atom that's very positively charged because it's lost one of its negative electrons. And so you can have lots and lots of different types of atoms. So this is basically what an atom is made of. made of protons and neutrons that form a nucleus at the centre, and electrons that whiz around the outside. And that's all there is to it. On a basic level, this is an atom. And inside your table, you have loads of these atoms, and they're all stuck together, and they form a giant lattice in your table or your pen or even your water. In your water, there's loads of these atoms that are all swimming around. So atoms are the fundamental building block of almost every material in the universe. I say almost because there are very strange and exotic exceptions, which I'll go into some other point. But basically, you can imagine these build up everything we know in the universe. So they're really, really fascinating. They're a fundamental part of physics. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you understood this, and I hope you understand what an atom is. It's just the building blocks, and everything is made out of these. And the atom itself is made of 3 particles: a proton, a neutron, and an electron. And that's all there is to it. Very, very simple. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your friends, everything like that. Leave any comments if anything confused you, or you want to hear anything else and you want me to do a video on it. I'm more than happy to do that. Just leave me a comment or send me a message. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.